Early ditch digging technology began to change in the late part of the 19th century as a need for wider ditches surfaced. At that time, buck scrapers and slip scoops were used to unearth soil. These horse-drawn contraptions allowed a team of men to move larger quantities of earth a greater distance.
Back when I was a young lad, the only way we really had of draining surface drainage on our ground was to use a slip scraper, which was a scraper with just a round flat surface on the bottom and round on the sides and two levers. Oh, that was very, very hard manual work, dangerous also. That was the good old days.
Today, advancements and innovations in technology continue to transform the farming industry.
We used to put our waterways in with bulldozers. It was just time consuming. The biggest complaint as far as putting them in with bulldozers is getting the dirt spread out far enough out of the waterway so water can get into the ditch where you want it to go.
Usually you got 2 or 3 operations going on if you're trying to bulldoze it out and spread it.
And you always had the piles of dirt out in the field that you have to later on deal with.
The soils on our farm are very poorly drained, and for years farmers have put in random surface drains, first with a moldboard plow, then with a small rotary ditcher, all of which have a problem. When you're crossing them, you bounce across them. And when the new rotary ditchers, new back then, small rotary ditches that fit on a 3-point hitch came out, you could work the field and then go back and put in the random ditches. So it was never a question of whether you would or wouldn't, you just had to do it. It was part of your tillage operations and planting operations.
Dynamic ditchers, located in Manitoba, Canada, created a solution to the problem many farmers were facing when ditching their fields to control runoff.
The need for the Wolverine came from just growing up on the farm and using scrapers to do our surface drainage. And it was always a cumbersome job, and it took a long time. And that's where Dad came up with the idea of, having this machine that would still work like a scraper as far as cutting a flat bottom. He wanted a machine that would throw the dirt to the left and the right, and he wanted something that had shear protection on the machine to protect the ditcher and the tractor. My dad had a good friend in the same town that McTavish Steelworks is from, and they got talking about what Dad wanted to take on as a project with this new machine. So he put us in touch with Dave from McTavish Steelworks, and he had a machine shop where they could actually start building the prototypes for us.
The Wolverine ditcher is a state-of-the-art ditching machine developed for ditching agricultural land. The Wolverine combines the features of a land scraper and utilizes the tractor's power takeoff to drive an upright steel rotating impeller, spreading the soil evenly on the field.
The unique combination of features of the Wolverine are that it cuts a 5-foot flat bottom cut similar to a land scraper. The dirt is then forced into the impeller with a set of paddles and fingers, and then when it hits the impeller, you can throw the dirt to the left or the right. It's actually ejecting the dirt out all the time. You're not like a scraper where you're loading it up, hauling it away, dumping it, coming back again. With the Wolverine, that dirt's coming out and spreading it up to 150 feet. At the same time, it's got shear protection on it so that if you do happen to hit an obstacle out in the field, the beater in the front will just stop. You reset the PTO and you're good to go again.
With a farmer using the Wolverine, when the ditch is completed, it's finished. You don't have to go in with a box scraper and spread the dirt around or anything.
I think I constructed 800 foot of channel, 30 foot wide, 1.5 foot deep, and it took me 6 hours. I know it would take me 2 or 3 days with a pan scraper doing the same thing. It makes you money because you can grow a crop in wet areas that were previously imperfectly drained, and that's the big advantage.
Every piece of ground that I farm needs some kind of drainage work. To get surface water off is the quickest return for your money you spent.
Over the years, Dynamic Ditchers has continued to perfect the design of the Wolverine, and in 2013 came out with the latest model, the Wolverine Extreme. The Wolverine Extreme reshapes waterways better and faster than any other machine. The flat cutting blade leaves a smooth finish with no ridges. Not to mention, the rotating kicker shaft chews up the sod and spreads it evenly up to 150 feet to the left or right. The Wolverine also minimizes soil compaction compared to using dozers or other heavy equipment.
When you get that many machines running on different farms, different soil conditions, different tractors, different operators, we learned a lot, and we listened to our customers, and we continue to improve the machine.
Well, I've got self-loading scrapers and pull-type scrapers and graders and trackhoe, dozer. But this thing will pick up the dirt and spread the dirt all in one operation. That's what makes it better than everything else.
There's two major advantages with this machine. The first one is that it makes a shallow enough ditch that you can easily cross at 12 to 14 miles an hour with a sprayer, or 7 or 8 miles an hour with a piece of tillage equipment. The second thing, and probably more important from a yield standpoint, is the fact that you can control the grade of the ditch that you're constructing with great precision. In other words, laser controlled. With laser control on a machine that constructs a quality ditch, it's just the cat's meow.
The Wolverine even works well in heavy clay soil because of its innovative patented design and heavy-duty construction.
The ability to work with the Wolverine in heavy clay soil was something that took us quite a few years. The drive line was, built heavier to handle that load. The way the mud feeds in with the paddles was changed. We looked at the different speeds of kicker shaft, the paddle design, all those things had to be changed. We now have a machine that it doesn't matter how wet the soil is, how heavy the soil is, it'll feed it in and it'll throw it out just the way you want it.
The Wolverine Extreme spreads the topsoil that gathers at the bottom of terraces back up into the field faster and easier than any other machine. Additionally, the paddles on the kicker shaft feed in the corn stalks or heavy trash that can end up beside the terraces.
Future trends that we see with our ditcher is that they really work well with the GPS. More and more farms are getting GPS, for the rest of their operation, and there's software out there now that'll do the grade control for your ditches as well. With our ditcher, they go hand in hand, and you end up having a very precise ditch, so you're not out there moving more dirt than you have to.
For more information, visit www.dynamicditchers.com or call the number on your screen.